Here, Keela, sit. Sit. Hi, everybody. I think I'm finally live. Oh, Keela just burped. Go ahead. Hello. So I had actually been all cozied up in the hammock outside in the forest with a wool blanket, and then the Starlink couldn't reach to the hammock, which was a big bummer. So, hi everybody. I recognize so many of these names. Anyone from Utah? I used to be, kind of. So as the title states, my van broke down. I'm gonna try to wipe this off. As the title states, my van broke down. And I was gonna talk about it because I haven't filmed anything since I left the wilderness, which is also new, especially here on YouTube, since a lot of the like day-to-day stuff and updates are on Instagram, of course. And so for those who are only over here on YouTube following, I did it ended up being 6 days in the wilderness, just Akela and I, and it was amazing, and I cannot wait to get the video out. It's just been a really big project. But wait, yay for the earrings I saw. Okay, really quick shout out about my new earrings. I love them so much. My friend Courtney, one of my best friends that I met in Utah years ago, she makes these really beautiful, well, she makes all sorts of really cool earrings, but these beaded ones are so neat. And yeah, her tag is from court, so at from court with a K, and she takes custom orders. But anyway, what I wanted to share was like that 7 or 6 days in the wilderness. Right before I went in, my van like actually broke down this time. So if you guys watched my last video, which was how my check engine light came on and then changed completely, like altered our plans altogether. Instead of going north, we went west. And it was all because the mechanic was amazing and gave us some awesome spots, and it was a really neat video. And yeah, so that had happened, but once we got here, my van, it basically, this is what happened. I got into town, and it was quite scary. Basically, I started to brake, and my brakes began to pulse like completely on their own, as if I were like stomping on the brake pedal. And then my steering also gave out a little bit. And so I could barely pull to the side of the road. When I got to the side of the road, and I will be checking everybody's questions and comments. I just want to get this story out of here since I'm not going to share any of this in videos. So yeah, when I got to the side of the road, luckily I was in town and I wasn't on a highway, because I do not know what would have happened if we were going 60, 70 miles per hour and my brakes started pulsing and my steering gave out. It was quite a scare, and I was only going like 15 miles an hour, 20 miles an hour. So nobody could get me in. I called so many mechanics. It seems like everybody all over is just very, very busy this time of year with everybody traveling. But this wonderful shop did get me in. So the day before I went into the wilderness, I gave them the van, and I was able to drive there super slow. Barely was able to turn in, and then they couldn't find anything. So the entire week I was gone, they drove it every day, sometimes twice a day, and nothing happened. They couldn't get the brake pedal to pulse. The check engine, like the codes, didn't really make much sense. And if any of you have experience with these same issues, please let me know, because I mean, I've gone in to talk to him like 3 different times, and we've like done troubleshooting ideas together of what to fix or what to check. I told him about all of my past stuff with Togo, but he called just a few days ago actually. So now it's been 2 weeks now, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, I think it's been 2 weeks without the van now. And he called a few days ago, and he was like, "Hey, we got it to act up again." But the thing that he got to act up was the thing that happened in Colorado. So what he experienced were the check engine or the codes that said cylinder 2 misfire and all of that jazz. But he didn't get it to experience the like brake pulsing or what he thinks maybe could be like the throttle body giving out. I don't know. So I have no idea what's going on with the van. It seems like it could be because it's so difficult to diagnose, maybe like a something with the cables and wiring. I don't know. I don't know. But oh, how old is my van? Okay, I'm gonna get to questions. It's a 2016. Um, so it's not really that old. It does have almost 150,000 miles on it, but it has a brand new transmission as of last year. Also, oh, Lori says hi. People are saying hi to you. Chris is laying in bed doing his work. So what's interesting, for those of you that have been around for the last, I don't know, a few years, I had an issue with the van where it was stranded in the middle of nowhere multiple times and it like wouldn't start and it wouldn't turn over and the key would get stuck. I made a post on Instagram about my van breaking down and a girl was like, "Hey, I'm having this horrible issue with my ProMaster. Nobody can figure it out. I bought it brand new." And she's having the exact issue that I had, which is so interesting. So I told her it might just be as simple as an extra ground wire. But all right, I'm gonna get to your questions. My husband says it's not the throttle body or cable. Well, I mean, I hope not. I hope it's nothing serious. It's a 2016 Ram ProMaster. Akela is my favorite. Akela is my favorite too. Oh, okay, so Bonita Bradley asked, "How is Akila's paw doing?" Her paw is doing great. I wish I could give you a close-up of her fingernail, but what had happened, she had, like, some trauma to her pinky nail, and it started, like, getting black, kind of like our nails do when they fall off. So it was a little bit infected and black, and now it doesn't bother her at all. Hi, Lene, I love your videos. I hope your van is okay. Thank you. I'm sure that the van is totally fine. It's just gonna be about them diagnosing it, and that's the tricky part right now, I think, because it is like an electrical issue, maybe wiring harness, I don't know. Maybe another ground wire. Kobuk is part German Shepherd, so he's a mix. He's a husky mix. Ooh, cool. Okay. Latina Geek. So this is off topic, but she said, "Mother of God, it was so good." So, I recently suggested reading Mother of God by Paul Rosley, and she said it was really good, and it is really good. I recently just watched another podcast with him. Um, he's so inspiring to me. Thank you. She Roams Wild. If you guys haven't checked out She Roams Wild, she's in the comments, and she's a fabulous video creator as well. She has a really cool build, a kind of build that if something were to happen to Togo, I would consider doing something similar to She Roams Wild. So check her out. Also, thank you. Oh, Fran McCarthy, how did you introduce Akela and Kobuk? Any issues? There were some issues at first. Yeah. And the issues were all because of our fault, Chris and I's fault. And I think that's typically how it goes with dogs, whether it's their behavior or their interactions. It's typically the human's fault. Yeah, so both of them have big energy, and Akela typically takes some time to get to know humans and dogs, as you guys know, I've talked about this before. And so it's been really important for, when 2 dogs meet or when Akela meets another dog, that it's in, like, an open space, doesn't belong to either of the dogs, and that she has time to approach and walk away and approach and walk away. And, at first, we went for some walks together, and those had always really well. And Akela and Kobuk were getting to know each other. And then there was one incident that was completely our fault, but, we had, like, gone shopping or something. We, like, went to get groceries and came back, and we were in Chris's small element. And, Akela was in the back, Kobuk was in the front. and we just kinda, like, pushed Kobuk back into Aquila's space, and this was before they had, like, formed a really great relationship, and they got into a little fight. So, Kobuk actually has a little mark on his nose from Aquila from that day. Everything was totally fine, but, from that point on, they definitely, it was still, like, a slower transition for them to get to where they are now, which is practically inseparable. They love each other. They are very attached to each other. So it did take some time. It wasn't entirely smooth the whole way. Oh, yeah, so Lori S., in your last video, it was so amazing that you found that mechanic. It touched my heart, the absolute kindness that is still out there. 100%, that mechanic was incredible. He was so kind, and, you could tell it was, like, a family-owned, like, honest, hardworking shop. It was fantastic. I enjoyed his company a lot, and, yeah, he was so kind. If you don't know, he, um fixed or tried to fix as best he could what was going on with my van, the issues that ended up popping up again, um, and didn't charge me, and he, like, gifted me his funnel, and it was just really, really kind. Joanne King, thanks for the share on the swamp jacket. My black dog appreciates it. Ooh, this is a really good I wanted to bring this up with you guys, actually. So what, she's talking about, there's a swamp cooler jacket from Roughwear. At the end of this video, I'll put this link below. I'll put a Roughwear link below, but one of the things that is really helpful for Aquila, especially when we are in the desert and it's hot, she wears a swamp cooler jacket. And as long as it stays wet, it cools her off. It acts as like an evaporative cooling because dogs don't sweat like we do. And so it releases heat in a different way for them. And it has been essential for her. And I'm really glad that you're enjoying it. Yeah, I'll make sure to put that link below. Oh, but the reason that that was important is because I am working on so I do have a website and I'm like kind of off and on active, kind of not active, but I've been working on an entire section that's dedicated to all of our gear, like everything from day hikes to van stuff to all of our backcountry gear, packs, sleeping arrangements, how we cook back there, all of Aquila's gear, everything explained with some pictures, some videos here and there, and links. Everything will be linked. Because I get questions all the time about my gear and Aquila's gear, there will be like just a full spread, full page for you guys to look at for that stuff. Ideally, that will be finished by the end of the week, along with the 7-day solo adventure in the mountains. Thank you so much, Lucy 2B. I really appreciate it. Are you all gonna do fall veggie planting? That would be so cool. It's just not doable with um, Chris and I have talked a lot about off-grid and how amazing it was and also how much work it was, but that canning is for sure gonna be a part of our future. Yeah, we actually have a lot of extra canned food from there. Did we end up grabbing any? We didn't end up grabbing any. It's at the shop. It's at Chris's shop in Kansas, but, yeah, anyway, canning, we miss it. It was fantastic. So many people are saying that they love She Roams Wild. I love that. Actually, Alex was the first person that I ever met up with in the van community, and we hung out in Idaho, and it was great. Actually, there's a video on it. I think on both of our channels, there's a video of us hanging out and doing a short little hike, a short little overnight. It was fantastic, though. Please tell us about the large ring on your middle finger. It's beautiful. Do you know the stone gem? I do. I know a lot about this ring because you know who made it? Elsa. If you guys don't know who Elsa Ray and Baron are, you should. Many of you do. Both of these are actually from her. Both of the turquoise rings. So yeah, these are both turquoise, and Elsa made them. Aren't they beautiful? Chris also has one that's really beautiful. They're both amazing, and I wear them basically every day unless I am doing something like I didn't bring them in the wilderness, obviously. But yeah, I love them. Very attached to these pieces of jewelry. Yeah, I'm sorry, there are a lot of questions, Jerry. What does the new bus look like? So, the bus. I'll just turn around my computer so you guys can see. This is a minibus. It is a 4-window. And I know that because it has 4 windows, but that's what the bus people say for measurements, apparently. It's a 4-window. This is a very basic build. And this is what it looks like. I do like how wide buses are. That's been nice, especially since I'm crammed in here. Since there's Chris.
Hello.
Kitchen. Drawers and stuff. Oh yeah, that's my phone. Yeah, that's basically it. That's all we got. But it's really nice. It works out really well. It works out better when I have my van. But we're dealing with the space, and the dogs are happy in here, and yeah. M. Parsons, do you still do the podcast? Uh-oh, it just went away. Do you still do the podcast? It no longer shows up on my podcast. Okay, yes, I do. And the reason it no longer shows up on your podcast is 100% my fault. So, Chris has kind of taken over the podcast. We still do it together. But I'm actually getting really warm. I have just been lazy and not putting it up on Spotify. I'm sorry. Yeah, Spotify. Or the podcast app or whatever. So I need to catch up with that and do that. So I'm just behind. That's my fault. If you do want to see the podcast though, they are on Chris's channel, which is the Off-Grid Schoolie, or is it Chris Travels? Or is that the same thing?
I think it's the Off-Grid Schoolie on YouTube.
I think it's the Off-Grid Schoolie. I think that's the handle, and then the name is Chris Travels. So yeah. You can watch them all there, and I'll be better with putting them up. The Gift of Nature, Jackery or Bluetti? Looking into my first solar generator. I'm gonna say Bluetti because I love my Bluetti. This shift for me has been fantastic. Jackery is a great option. Bluetti charging with an AC outlet, it is 100% in an hour, which is wild because mine is 1800 watts. It's super efficient. It runs my my freezer like a boss. I love it. Also, the solar panel. I have the 200-watt solar panel thing, and it's fantastic. I love it so much. Chris uses Jackery right now, and he'll put his 2 100 panel watts out, and I'll have my 200, Bluetti panel out, and his will get significantly less wattage in. So, have you ever gotten sick off mushrooms or taken any trips you weren't planning on? Are we talking unintentional? No, I haven't. The only mushrooms have I? I don't believe so. We're pretty careful with what we forage and eat. The ones that are very easy to identify are the ones that we eat. So morels, chicken of the woods. I've eaten puffballs. I've eaten we did find, so what's really cool right now out here, there's been a lot of rain. We're in Wyoming. There's a ton of mushrooms coming up. Big, beautiful boletes, we think. But we haven't been able to identify them good enough to eat them, unfortunately. And we've been trying to find people that could help guide us with that. So yes, okay. Chirping with Pippi. Try lactofermenting. Yeah, I would love to learn how to ferment. I really would. Uh-oh. I'm getting behind. What? Uh-oh. I apparently have been lagging. I'm so sorry. Sorry, everybody. Hopefully it's back on and I'm good. Okay, I think we're good, right? Yay. Okay. What was I just asked? This is so funny because I was like way up in the comments. I didn't even know I was lagging. Sorry, everybody. I was wondering, Lucy2B, I was wonderstruck by your moose encounter by the tent while you were filming and a mule deer. Yeah, I'm very excited to share you guys everything that happened throughout my 6 days in the mountains. It was fantastic. There was an incredible moose encounter, and the best part is that I received a lens. I bought myself a new lens. It was a big gift to myself. And I had this lens for this amazing encounter, and I'm so excited for you guys to see all of the footage. Dakota, someone please fill me in on the podcast thing. A long time ago, I started a podcast, just super chill, basically just wanting to like talk about things that I don't typically touch on in YouTube videos and life stuff and whatever. And I recently have not been doing it as much. Chris and I do a podcast together. It's on his podcast. I just need to put the podcast onto my channel. So right now, Chris and I and the dogs are in Wyoming, and we do really love it here. I've been behind on your videos because of being out in the forest. Hey, that's an awesome reason to be behind on videos. How did Chris fare on your run? Did you have to pace him? No, Chris beat me. He did great on the run. We both just had a really fun time. So for those of you that don't know, I signed up for a 10K run just because I enjoy having something to do something for. And so I'd been running here and there, and the day I went in to pick up my packet. So the day before the run, I went in to pick up my number. He came in with me and he was like, so can I sign up on registration day? And she was like, yeah, you can sign up right now. And then he did. And then he ran the race and it was really fun. An older gentleman joined me for the last like mile and a half. I had passed him and then he had caught back up to me and he's like, all right, we're going to do this together. And it was so kind and fun and he was awesome. How are y'all feeling post-race? I'm feeling really good. My hamstrings are a little sore, but it's not that crazy long. Chris is pretty sore because he hadn't been training his I'm glad I'm not in the hammock right now. I don't know if you guys can hear this, but it's raining. Chris had a hernia surgery not too long ago. So yeah, he couldn't like do anything. And so then he just like jumped into a 10K and he did great. Dakota, that's so funny. What did I insulate my van with? I insulated my van with 3M Thinsulate, and I love it. It was so easy to install, and I would probably do it again. Hey, guys. Oh, I don't want to give this away. I don't think she's on here. I think you guys should all check out Travis Wild and some of the things that he's creating. I'm going to share more about this once I actually receive certain items because I'm surprising somebody with something from him. And that probably just gave it all away if she's on here. I hope she's not. No. Have you been to Texas in a van or bus? I've been through Texas. Actually, Texas is where I installed my swivel seat in my van, which was super fun. But I haven't spent much time there. I can't actually say that I've been to Texas in a van because I just drove through. So I know nothing about it. Oh my gosh, I keep... Uh-oh, I think I might be lagging again. Oh no. Oh, shoot. Oh, this is a great... It's on cowboy camping with a dog. I'm always tempted, but I'm nervous about critters. I have spent many nights cowboy camping with Akela. For those that may not know, cowboy camping is basically you just don't sleep with a tent. You're just on the ground. Typically what I do is I do a ground tarp. So I just like cut a tarp down that could be like the size of a tent footprint or a little bit larger for space to put my gear. So like a ground tarp, and then my sleeping pad over that, and then my sleeping bag to sleep. And it's fantastic, especially in the desert, because in the desert, there's not many mosquitoes or biting bugs. There are scorpions and stuff, but those typically burrow, so they're not going to be like climbing all over you. I think that it really depends on your dog, because that's what Akela and I did for so long. She was really comfortable with it, and she would also, I hope this rain isn't too loud for you guys, but she was really comfortable with that because she would also share my gear. Like we would share a sleeping bag often, so that she wouldn't ever want to be away. But I do like have friends that have dogs that would wander in the middle of the night, which is scary, especially when you have larger predators around or whatever with your dog, So I would depend on your dog, but I've done it a ton, and it works great for Akela and I. And then you get to see the stars and not be in a tent. And yeah, so I would say go for it. Just give it a whirl. I love it. I think Akela prefers a tent, but she'll cowboy camp pretty well. Do you think you could only I could my freezer. Yeah, you can definitely have just a portable solar thing and not an actual like installed solar system. You can absolutely do that. Thank you guys so much. Man, I'm so sorry I'm breaking up so much. The Starlink is breaking up a lot.
I moved it a little bit further from the bus. I don't know what's going on with it.
Oh, really?
Could be cloud cover.
Yeah. I'm sorry, guys. The Starlink has been like really acting up all of a sudden, but it's been great since like right now. Travis Wild, what about playing college sports? Never knew about that, but I played too. Feel like it's something a lot of us rode. Yeah, but don't talk about. Do you still play? This is such a good question. Yeah, so I played. I think I've only spoken about this in like Q&As, but so I played college basketball, and basketball was my life for a really long time. That was kind of my goal of mine, to get a college scholarship, and I really, really loved it until I didn't. And sometimes that's hard to talk about, but I think when you move into like a college setting, which I'm sure Travis, but when you move into a college setting, everything kind of shifts and changes, because it is no longer like, it definitely becomes a job. And my freshman year was incredible. We did really, really well. And then things just started to kind of impact my mental health and my physical health. And we were certainly overtrained, but my team was amazing and loved the girls so much. I had some of the best experiences in college basketball. And then I made the really, really hard decision to graduate early and not play my senior year, which is very difficult, because when you're a college athlete, that is your entire identity. At least in my experience, it seems. The people that played basketball or the people that played soccer or whatever it was, like, that's who they were. And when you decide not to do something like that anymore, your world kind of comes crashing down. So I graduated early. It was a really hard decision. I know that coaches and teammates weren't really happy with that, but it was best for me and my mental health. And I just traveled to Utah. I just moved to Utah and like worked in the wilderness. So yeah, I think one of the things that I love talking about with people who have a similar experience is like how then they coped with not having a sport, because it seems as though people that play college, whatever, when they like when that time in their life ends, you have to go through like a grieving process of not having that type of competition or family or like intensity in your life. And so I actually moved into CrossFit after that, which I love because it's so competitive. And hard. And it was like, it like filled that gap. So that's my answer to that. Yes, also engineers for van life are here. I love those two. I talked about Eric and Colby in my electrical video a while back, and they're awesome. Does prefer the smaller bus? Are you listening? Ready? Does Chris prefer the smaller bus? Was it terrible navigating spots with the larger rig? Do you want I just trimmed his beak, buddy.
Tequila.
He's live ready.
Some angry dogs. So with the smaller bus, it's definitely a lot easier to bounce around town and just go to stores. I do miss the larger bus, but just with the traveling we're going to be doing now, I do prefer the smaller bus. We were just talking about it yesterday. I may in the future swap out to an ambulance. There's a V10 ambulance at the shop that just has more heavy duty brakes, a little bit more room, like just office space and fridge space is just more conducive. Because I think I will be doing this for a while longer as we bounce around and do this type of travel. So it's pros and cons. I do really miss the big bus, but
what do you miss about it?
I miss like how we're set up here till Thursday to check on your van. Like just it's so big. We have our own space. Like we're able to bounce around. We don't have to worry about solar. We have our office spaces. It just feels more like a actual home. Like you're out in a home out in the wilderness where with this smaller bus, not that it feels like camping, but it's just not as spacious. But I don't know if I'd feel comfortable getting the big bus up to the spot, at least the spot we were at before. Like the roads are really bad. And if a 40-foot school bus raised roof gets stuck in a place like this, just even trying to get somebody to come out and try and pull me out or tow me out would be a feat in itself, not to mention the cost. So it's pros and cons, but I'm digging the minibus and how we're living. Like I said, I might just go a little bit bigger, but that's more for the engine and transmission and brakes because I've already smoked the brakes on this minibus. I'm going to have to get them replaced just because we go up in the mountains and we have to go downhill and then they get warped. This bus isn't necessarily made for mountains. So that's my opinion.
Nice.
Hope you guys having a good time.
Yep. Oh, it jumped. Somebody had asked, Starlink has frequent drops nearly wherever you use it. Really? Yeah, it's so frustrating, especially when you're trying to do it live. Somebody had asked, oh yeah, did your mom go on her trip yet? She's just as amazing as you are. Thank you. I tell her all the time when you guys leave really kind things about her. She has not left yet. She is leaving in a month-ish. Less than a month now. No, yeah, about a month. So my mom is hiking the Camino and she's doing the Portugal route. And she's doing it with her good friend Julie. And she's leaving, yeah, very soon. And I'm really excited for her and her experience. Rocky Duck wants to know if we miss her. Of course we miss Rocky Duck. We talk about Rocky Duck a lot. Oh, man. Jess from the Painted Buffalo took in a little baby duck that Chris and I found. And she's like all grown up now and very cute. What did I major in? I majored in exercise science. Thank you guys so much. I'm reading all of your beautiful comments and I really appreciate it. Would you mind sharing how old you are? Sometimes I get a little discouraged about not being at where I want to be in my life at my age. I am 28 years old. And also, I know of so many people my age and older who are living quite non-traditionally. And I think it's a really beautiful thing that it's becoming more accepted to do various things and have various milestones at many different ages in life. So sending you love. You are good wherever you are at whatever age you are. Chris's calm energy is contagious. Yeah, I think actually Chris and I are a great balancer. Not to say that I'm not calm, but I'd say that I can be spicy sometimes. Are we planning on canning and staying up in Wisconsin again this winter? No, 100% no, absolutely not. We will not be doing that again. It was amazing. The time up there was great, challenging. We learned a lot. What ruined it for me, not ruined it, but what altered my idea about maybe doing it again was the cleanup. I would love to do that sort of challenge maybe when there's an established piece of land that we own and there's a shed where we can put things for later or something like that. But the cleanup was so intense. We had a lot of extra canned meat and didn't have many places to put it. And yeah, there was just a lot of the prep and a lot of cleanup that sandwiched the really amazing experience. And I don't want to do necessarily the outlying things. We don't really have plans for winter per se. In the winter, I'm heading to Peru for 3 to 4 weeks. At first I said 2 weeks, and then I said 3 weeks, and I'm saying 3 to 4 weeks. But, so some of my plans will be going to Peru, going to the Amazon rainforest. I'm doing a herpetology expedition there. Herpetology is snakes and amphibians and all that good stuff. And so I'll be helping put together a species list, and I'm really excited about it. I'm also pretty nervous about it because I like everything except for spiders. Spiders really freak me out. I'm working on it, but they really freak me out. There's a lot of spiders in the Amazon, especially at night. What would you say is the biggest game changer in your van? Hi, Amy. I recognize you. And a must-have for van life. Man, I have no idea. I really enjoy having my freezer. I don't think it's a must-have. It feels like a game changer, not a must-have. And that is because I can now be out in the middle of nowhere for much longer because I actually have food storage. So I would say the freezer was a really awesome addition for me. Joe Quinn, is it harder to make friends living in a van? Any tips for a newbie looking to make friends on the road? I think that going to events is a really fantastic place to make friends. There are a bunch of different events. I don't know how to say this, but I guess when I moved into my van, my intention wasn't to make friends. I didn't even know there was a community of van people. Actually, Travis Wild, the guy that asked about the sports question and that makes really beautiful art, he was one of the very first people that I ever followed that also lived in a van. And the reason why I was so attracted to Paige was because he created vans that were like finally a vibe that I could enjoy. I was like, oh, he like has like little cabins too. And that's what I wanted. And so I'm like, he's got a really neat vibe. I'm gonna steal some of his ideas. And I did steal some of his ideas. So I would say that events are great and social media is fantastic as well. I mean, I've made a few friends on social media, but for me going into this, it wasn't necessarily about community. I didn't even know there was a community. So I might be the wrong person to ask. I don't really go to events too much. I think I've been to 2 total, and they are really fun if you're like, into that and wanting to do that. I wish I would have known you were from Wisconsin sooner. Yep, I'm a Wisconsin gal. Chris insulated. This bus, I believe, is spray foam. They typically do spray foam insulation. Oh, yes. Okay. I remember, I'll clear this up. Abigail says, I remember you saying that you didn't like Schoolypalooza because people didn't have their control of their animals. Did I get that right? Schoolypalooza was amazing. I loved Schoolie. I just didn't allow Akela out too much. So I would mostly spend time with her like early mornings, and then Chris and I would take the dogs for walks outside of the area. The only thing that does happen, and this is when you get like any humans together, it's any events. A lot of dogs are off leash, and Akela, that's not her scene to be in like crazy chaos areas, a lot of dogs approaching her that she doesn't know, especially if the van is nearby or me, because she is protective. So I just have to be very cognizant. If it's an area where people's dogs are off leash and not really controlled, then it's not a good place for Akela. That's all. Oh man, this keeps jumping away. Can you help me shovel 3 feet of snow to get my car out? No, I don't ever wanna be in snow. Actually, I do kinda wanna be in snow this year. Do you guys ever plan on traveling together full-time in one van or bus? I don't really foresee that happening. I really talked about it, to be honest. But, um, I think I don't know if you wanna add to any of this. But the question is, would we actually get this question a whole lot. Would we together in one van or one bus? We have his rig has been broken down, but I don't really that happening.
No, I wouldn't say so. I think we both like our
Yeah,
space and being able to move around and
we both
not
like
share
our
any
own
work.
space. I think that um Chris loves his big bus. It's very much his home, but I think that for me, for something to feel like home, I have to be a big part of it, like help build it and help create it. No part of his bus feels like my home, you know? And so I also really like being able to access deeper nature areas, which is almost impossible in the large bus. And so, if Chris goes back to the large bus, which is totally fine, then I will still be in the van, still be like have the ability to do my own thing and do the things that I really love and like get back in nature. So I think we're just so happy doing things together, and still having our like independence and our lives still. And that's something that I'm learning is really important, you know, just experience through relationships and how this one has evolved, and it feels really good and it works really well for us. Will you travel around Canada in the near future? I would absolutely love to travel Canada. Um, yeah, I know very little about traveling in Canada, but it is something that I would love to do. I think Canada is beautiful. My friend Brenda's there. I think she's there right now, or maybe she's back. Um, but yeah, I would love to. How do you foresee your future, both near and far? I don't know. I don't know yet. Taking things day by day. I've thought a lot about like future stuff. And I don't think this means like nobody should plan for their future. And one thing that I often consider is how much we evolve over time, like how we are changing our personalities, our perceptions, our experiences, the people we want to be around, the things we want to experience. It's always constantly changing. And so how can like who I am today know what I want to be in 10 years? And so rather than like creating something rigid, which I'm not saying that you're expecting me to be rigid, but just allow myself to evolve and take different paths and see what feels the best and whatnot. And then wherever I end up is my future. That's how I feel. Weren't you on a TV show called Gutted? Yeah, Gutted was very, very fun. Chris also was on Gutted. That is where we met. Amy B, thank you very much. I'm sorry that your comment got cut off. I appreciate all the love. Do I ever rewatch my old videos? I actually don't. There's one video that I really like watching. I'm gonna put my social watching is when my van was broken down. It's where I met my friend Dylan, and it was in Idaho. And sometimes I watch that video because I just really like it. But no, I actually don't watch my videos. So Chris Ott, thank you for watching one of my videos. I honestly love the separated rig idea because it's so nice to have your own space and ability to get your alone time. Yeah, for sure. It is really nice. Sometimes people will kind of give me hate about that, like, oh, you don't want to live in the same rig. You're not ready. You don't really love each other. But what I say to that is you and your spouse or wife or husband or whatever, instead of living in your house together, move into your master bathroom together. And then tell me that, because it's different when you're in a tiny, tiny space, needing to do everything together, drive everywhere together. Like, it's great having two separate rigs. I just want to say thank you for being so honest about your van build. It's nice to see real life make you feel less alone in your mess. This is from In a Breath. I like that name, In a Breath. That's an awesome little name. Thank you. Yeah, that was the goal. That was the goal because I had absolutely no fucking clue what I was doing during that time. I still wouldn't if I did another build. Susie Boggs, what would you recommend to someone who wants to start? I'm assuming someone who wants to start living on the road, van life. I would recommend just going for it. I know that might sound cliche or might sound too easy, but you can research all you want. You can ask people questions. You can read articles, watch YouTube videos, whatever it may be. But until you actually get out there and really start experiencing the idea of road life, that's when you're going to understand what you want, how you want to live out there, the things that you need. So start, just like go, get out there. And what I often say to people, if they're like, you know, I don't have a van yet, but I want to, where do I start? Go out in your vehicle, go live in your vehicle for 2 days or a week and start to see what's really important to you. Also follow people that live a similar lifestyle that you think you might want to live. I think that's really important. You know, there are people living in a van that's very different than me. And so find the people that you kind of resonate with. I think that's always helpful because people, you know, then you can learn from them too. That's my thought on that. I just got a shepherd. How do you recommend going about their instincts to be protective? How did you teach Aquila the difference between when to be protective, good strangers versus bad strangers? All strangers are bad to Aquila. I would say, Gail, actually, there's a really wonderful woman that Akela and I see every once in a while. She does remote training calls. Her name is Melissa, and her website is Juniper Trails. So you can type in like Juniper Trails dog training. She's out of Salt Lake City, Utah. And I absolutely love Melissa. The beautiful thing about her is that she focuses on herding breeds, which are shepherds, and she focuses on a connection built between you and your dog. So rather than just it being about like scolding, reprimanding, making them do what you want, it's like you're creating this deep connection and understanding and communication that can be built upon. And I would recommend her. I just told my spouse if we ever did van life together, we would definitely have to have 2 vehicles with maybe a bell tent to hang out together. Yeah, for sure. That's so funny. It is great. Iron Wolf, goodbye. Thanks for being here. Would you recommend a ProMaster for van life or a bus? I'm a van. I think vans are great. I wouldn't recommend a ProMaster because I'm having so many issues with my ProMaster. I also know many other people that have had a lot of issues, quite severe or that go undiagnosed, and they continue to pop up. I think every van has the potential to break down. Every van has its good things and bad things and whatnot, but I've heard a lot more negative things happening with ProMasters. With that being said, there are ProMasters that have given people no issues. So if I were to do it all over again, I think I would probably go with the Transit. But I still have my Master. I love Togo. I'm not getting rid of him ever. Oh, and then yeah, the other part, bus. I think that it just depends on what you want to do. I think Chris touched on some of it. He might be switching to an ambulance because the this bus, it's a minibus, but it's just having a really hard time in the mountains. So if you plan to never be in the mountains or not go onto forest roads or explore different places like that, I'm sure a bus would be fine. It has a great living area, but I think that if you are more like adventure focused, I do think a van is a great thing for that. I also know people that are very adventure focused in a bus too, and they've made like different adjustments to their rig to accommodate it. So it just depends on what you want. But I'm confused at this question, lady. Fritz Eater, are you preparing yourself with a breakup with your van? No, I don't understand that question. I've had my van before Chris and I were ever together. And I'm not gonna be like giving up my build in my house when I don't need to, because I'm really happy in my rig and Chris is really happy in his rigs, and we still get to travel together and be together basically 24/7. Really quick, Renee, hello. Wait, Renee or Renati? How do you? I don't. Cool name. I'm sorry if I'm butchering it. My van, I don't know what's going on because they can't diagnose what's happening, but there's weird things happening with the brake, and it's idling weird and it's lurching and the steering goes out. So I don't know what's going on. What would I work on for my next build? If I had to do a next build, I would probably do a truck camper because I think they're so cool. If that's not really doable, if that doesn't, if that wouldn't really work for what Chris and I are doing or adventure wise, I would probably do a Transit, but I would not go any longer. I love how short my van is. Will I make new merchandise or restock? Yes. Yeah, that was a really big endeavor. The whole merchandise thing was a really big endeavor. It took a lot of work, but I would love to do it again. I just need to figure out who, because I'm going to continue to do it as fundraisers and just give all the money away. I just need to figure out exactly who I want that to go to and kind of a theme for it, because I think that's really fun. But I have been talking to the artist that did the merch from the winter, and he's down to do another design. I just need to figure out what I want to do and what you guys want, and a way to make it special, because I would love for, to fundraise a bunch of money for a great cause again. Is Akela okay? She is more than okay. She is cuddled up. Actually, Chris is laying on her. She's cuddled up, fast asleep. She's doing fantastic. She's loving the mountains. Abigail, yes, the fuse panel is very easy. Yeah. You connect positive to negative and look up what fuse you need, or not positive negative. You do your positive to positive, negative to negative. And then you just need to look up what fuse is needed for your appliance, and that will typically be in the user manual. Sometimes you can Google it and just get that little fuse and pop it in. Yeah, Forged from Freedom. Being emotionally attached to a vehicle will cost you money. It will. I'm emotionally attached to my vehicle, 100%. I love that house, but it would still cost much more to build a new vehicle, especially with the high costs of everything going on now. My vehicle costs me nothing compared to what it would today. Ren, I can call you Ren for short. Cool, thanks. Candy, do I have any recommendations on security systems? I don't have a security system in my van. From what I know, a lot of them do depend on having Wi-Fi, and I don't have Wi-Fi in the van. And if I do, I would need the security system for when I'm away from the van, which would be like hike and trips in the backcountry. And I just wouldn't want to use my electrical for that. So I don't. I've seen Simply Safe like all over, so maybe Simply Safe is a good one. Claire, would I recommend an RV or a van? I would 100% recommend a van because you can build them out really well. RVs typically, from what I know in a year, aren't built out very well. And then you customize a van. Although I know some people that have bought RVs and then customized them, and they've turned out to be like perfect little rigs for them. So once again, it does depend on what you want. How long do I plan on going to Peru for? I'll be there for, I'll be in Peru for probably like 2-ish weeks, and then I would like out. But we'll see how the travel go. Jamie, thank you so much for the love. I really appreciate it. And I'm glad that you've stepped out of your comfort zone so much. That's so important. There have been some questions about hunting in here. I'm learning how to bow hunt. Yes, I do. I did on if my van is ready or not, because my hunt does start soon. What is the age and order gap between me and my siblings? Oh, yeah. So Casey Johnston is catching up on some older build videos, and my brother Noah and I did a cargo trailer build, which you guys watched us, Chris and I, staying in Florida. Oldest brother is Josiah, then comes Noah, then comes Luke. All of them are 1.5 years apart. I am 10 years younger than my oldest brother. So there's like the 3 boys and then like a 7-year jump, 6-year jump, and then me. Fun fact, I am a vasectomy baby, so I was not planned. Sherry, I'm glad that you're enjoying the live stream. Yeah, sorry about all the lagging, and this has been fun. I rarely ever do lives. If I do lives, typically they're just with patrons. But I've been away for a while, and with everything with the van and the wilderness solo, and I just figured that this would be good. Chance, do I think that I would go with the Ford Transit Trail that I posted about? I don't know, because I am not, it's an expensive van, and I don't know that I would want to spend a ton of money on a vehicle. So I don't know. I would have to be put in that situation to know, but I do think that the Ford Transit Trail is an incredible van. And I think that if you have the budget, and a lot of people do have the budget for it, then go for it. Ren, I'm so excited that you're starting to use a compound bow. That's so cool. Yes, Candy, I did post my sourdough video. It is, yes, it's on my channel. I believe it has sourdough in the title for sure. Please put this up for a replay. I think it will be. Yeah. Happy accident. Happy accident. I like to say that I am a miracle. I also like to say that that's why I'm so stubborn, because I was going to be in this world no matter what. So, yeah. So as far as Peru goes, will I be doing updates from Peru? I don't know. So typically I will do daily updates on Instagram often. So probably on Instagram, yes, but I probably will not be doing any videos while I'm in Peru. I will be filming and then I'll create videos after the fact, just so I can really be there and experience everything and film everything that I want to without, taking the time to like edit videos. So, yes, on other platforms. There's a 2-year waiting list for the transit trail. Whoa, Rose Bordeaux. Holy cow. That's wild. Scott, how did the 10K go? It went great. Thank you. It felt amazing. Joanne King. This is interesting. People have asked me this a lot. If I think if Ford would put me up in a transit to boost sales, like a free one, I don't know that I would actually accept a free vehicle. I just feel as though, I don't know. I don't think I would, because so much of what I want to do is share how I managed to do everything by myself. And I think that would take some of that away, I also just love my van so much. For those that are asking about Akela, she's right here. Can you even see her? She's laying right next to Chris. She's sleeping. Chris is not going to Peru with me. No, he's going to be watching Akela. This will be a solo trip for me. Dan the Overlander. I do not know where I want to buy land yet. I am money is set aside, is continued to be set aside. I hope to buy land at some point in my life. I think that that's a big accomplishment that I'm excited to have, to make, to do. But no, part of this is determining where I want to buy land, and I'll be spending, there's been a lot of time spent here in Wyoming. There will be a lot of time spent in Colorado, in Utah, and I know that it's going to be somewhere in the West, and I want it to be a decent acreage because I want to do cool things and build stuff and have space to garden, and who knows, maybe buy an animal or two, maybe some goats. Jess from the Painted Buffalo really got me loving ducks. So I don't know yet. I'm really glad they did this live. I've been wondering how the repair and the adventures were playing out these last few weeks. Yeah, thank you. I'm happy to be here as well. The repairs, I will try my very best to keep you guys in the loop with what goes on. Now that YouTube has taken away stories, I don't post as many daily things over here. So yeah, hopefully in the next few days. On Thursday, we're going back to town to change out brakes on Chris's bus, and ideally I'll be able to talk to the mechanic again and get some sort of an idea if they can even figure it out. Kara Gregory, no way this is 1080, so blurry. Yeah, that's because I'm on Starlink. So I'm in the middle of nowhere doing this live. Sometimes that happens. Oh, cool. Ginger, my daughter just came back from hiking 54 miles into Machu Picchu. Great experience. Yes, I am looking into maybe doing Machu Picchu as well. All right, I am going to do just a few more questions and then let this live go because we're already an hour in. Let's see. Is there a way that you're preparing to deal with possible altitude sickness when in Peru? So, I'm not worried about it in the Amazon. The only place that I would be worried about if I do any sort of trek. So I've actually never experienced altitude sickness. I know typically if you get as you get older, it can be harder on people, but I will enter the city close to elevation before I do any trek and stay there for a little while, and then hydration and all that good stuff. But, yeah, I did Kilimanjaro a few years ago, and I've just never had issues with altitude, and I don't want to have them though, so I will make sure to acclimate as best as I can. How do you like Akila's rough wear pack? I love her rough wear pack. In the last video, a few videos ago, a few weeks ago, a few months ago, I don't know. Akila got a brand new rough wear pack because her old one was wearing out and it was just a little on the small side. I will also link her rough wear stuff down below. Her pack is amazing. I love it. It also, I should say bags, like the bags, they hold a lot more, so it's easier to fit things, which is awesome. Rebecca, did I do Pride Canyon in March? I'm planning a trip, and despite the little bit of snow, it looked like we picked up. We did pick a perfect time. We did it it was spring because it was still a little chilly. I think we did do it in March. The only thing about Pride Canyon, and Rebecca, you might already know this, but just watch monsoons. So, typically April is a big monsoon season and March might be perfectly fine. So I think we did do it in March. I hope that you have the best trip. Pride Canyon was amazing. I would 100% do that trek again. It was incredible. Yeah. If there's any way for you to reach out, let me know how it goes. Let me know how it goes because, man, what an amazing hike. Ashley Anderson, baby took some time to go down. I'll make sure to leave this up if anybody does want to watch this whole thing. I will absolutely give Akela a smooch from Florida. Do I like my drone? I do like my drone, except I'm still learning how to use it. And last time I spent 20 minutes up in the air taking the most beautiful footage of this canyon river and us fly fishing. And then I forgot to put a SD card in. And I lost all my footage because it doesn't have an internal memory. So I like it, but I'm a little mad and bitter at myself that I did that. I do not have a video of the Kilimanjaro trip. Megan, great question though. That was before I started doing any YouTube videos. So I did a lot of traveling before I moved into the van. And that was one of the things. My youngest brother, Luke, was a Peace Corps member over in Tanzania. And so my family went over there for a few weeks. And one of the things we did was hike Kilimanjaro, and it was absolutely amazing. And my mom hiked it with us, and she just crushed it because she's such a badass. And she did great. Amy, you're wearing makeup. So pretty. I just love your hair. Thank you. Actually, this makeup is left over. Chris and I had a little date night last night in town. We went to dinner and a movie. And so I didn't even take my makeup off from last night. But thank you. Yeah, my hair has been getting very, very, very long. Chris's leg where he got bit is 100% fine. He is totally healed from the spider. Okay. Ashley Anderson. My husband and I are going off on our first van trip in a few weeks, and I'm fearful about heat. Despite where we live, we hate the heat. The van only has one fan. I'm curious where you're going. Are you staying in Florida for your trip? Yeah, it's tough in a van with when it's hot. Chris loves the heat. He could just he sweats when he sleeps. He loves it. So I don't know. I love having the two fans in my van because of the airflow. So sorry you only have one. Good luck. Good luck out there. As far as keeping cool, just chase the weather. But if you're staying in Florida, I don't know. I really don't. I wish I could. I wish I could give you more. Park in the shade, airflow, as much airflow as you can. Open the door. Sometimes I've had to do that. I've had to camp, sleep with the door open. Sherry, love you and Chris. Thank you so much. Oh, you're going to you're going to Washington. That's great. You're going to be fine. Just be in elevation. You're going to be great. It'll be nothing like Florida. That's so funny. Alrighty. Well, everybody, I think I know I haven't hit nearly any like everybody's questions, but I am going to leave. I do decorate for Christmas, yeah. I love it. All right. I appreciate everybody for being here. Yes, I will be learning the laws on the okay. I'm going to keep answering questions if I don't say goodbye. All right, everybody. We appreciate you. Thank you for being here. Of my 6-day so excited to get it out, and I hope you all love it. And I will have all of my gear linked on my website for you guys, for everybody that's been asking about gear. For now, since I talked about Aquila's gear, I will put some rough wear links in the description below right when I'm done with this. All right, everybody. Goodbye. I hope you have a wonderful evening.